Welcome back to We Are One in Spirit podcast. And today I have with me Jennifer Luchien, and she is graciously agreeing to be on the podcast to talk about her journey. And I think that when we corresponded by email, Jennifer, you said that you were feeling stuck, and maybe you had some questions, or maybe you had some advice for people who are feeling stuck. Tell us a little bit about yourself and share your journey.
Well, hello. Like I said, nice to meet you, Yvonne. I was guided to you. Actually, I have been working with the spiritual realm really hardcore since about 2009 when I was first awakened. And I connected with you is kind of identical to mine as far as when I saw, well, first of all, I'm a medium, clairvoyant, like a really spiritual person, and I've been dealing with the angelic realm for a long time. And then when I did hear your story, you were basically saying that you saw some aliens or star people. They don't have to be called aliens. Star people watching you. And I experienced the same thing. They would watch me, and I always talk to Archangel Michael. He's like kind of like like one of my close friends. Our connection is really strong. So I would say, Michael, who are they and what do they want? And he'd always say, oh, they're just watching you for data. And I'm like, what? Why? And so it kind of blew me away. Like, okay, they just want to know, like, information about me. He was like, no, you kind of intrigued them. And I'm just like, okay. And so, like I said, I was first awakened in 2009. And then that was when I said that was my first step up. And then last year, I got another, during a full moon ritual, I got another upgrade. So, and then I believe I'm going through another one. So it's been like a few ascending steps up and up and up. And so when I was first initially led to you, the angel numbers, because I have 6 kids. I gave birth to 3, and when I married my husband, he had 3. And so it was funny because I would talk to my kids in an angel language, but I never knew what it was. And I said, it's not Spanish, it's not English, and I said, it's not Italian. And then when I was led to you, I heard it, and then it just shocked me. Like, and then I heard your story, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, and I understood what it was. And I was just like, oh, it makes sense why they guided me to you. And I'm so grateful to have met you, because you're extremely helpful. I went to your website and I've listened to some of the angel downloads that you have on your website, and it's just been really, really helpful for me, so I just jumped at the chance, to try to come on and listen, and share my story with you. So I just wanted to say formally, thank you for all that you do.
You're very welcome, and thank you. I'm so glad we found one another. Definitely. So what's on your heart today? What would you like to talk about?
Well, one thing about it is that I've been doing, I know that God has me here for a reason, and I know that, I've been drawn to the angelic realm for a long time, and I've been doing these readings for, since 2009, and I keep, my biggest thing is that I know that, God has something more for me as far as expanding and, helping out, because I was doing Reiki. I mean, I could do Reiki also. And I just feel like I'm kind of like at a standstill, like, okay, what more do you want me to do, as far as to help serve, because that's where I'm coming from, is a place of service. God, where do you want me to serve at?
Right.
And like with the angel language, I can understand it, and then I can talk it and all that and everything, but it's just like I think my biggest thing is, how can I what should be my next step as far as with my life purpose, and tying in all the angelic realm and all that together.
Mm-hmm. I
So
bet as
that's
you
where
look
I was
back,
kind of at a standstill.
As you look back through your life since 2009, when things opened up for you, do you see how that you kind of followed a synchronistic trail of breadcrumbs that led you here? That you got a notion about this, you got an urge about that, there was an opportunity here. And that's the very
Yes.
organic way that spirit leads us, and we open to new things. So sometimes when
Right.
we're feeling stuck, it may be a call to just take the pause and to just really
Yeah.
saturate yourself in the love of God and to really feel into
Mm-hmm.
that, because that's going to be a filling for you, like you're in a fill up
Mm-hmm.
station and you're getting filled
Yeah.
up so
Mm-hmm.
that when your next opportunity comes along, then you're ready. Sometimes we try to get the cart
Mm-hmm.
before the horse and we feel like, oh, I just got to do something. And we try to push and we try to make
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah.
And that just usually doesn't work because we end up getting frustrated. Things don't happen the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
But when we live, I guess, in the moment and really in that sweet connection with our heart space, with that inner sanctuary, things just naturally unfold. Have you seen that to be true in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, that is true. It is true. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, it's like we were talking a little bit with Laura this morning, and she was talking about the contraction, or maybe it was Anna. I've done several podcasts today, but Anna was talking about the contraction and expansion, and how that sometimes we feel like
Mm-hmm.
we're being squeezed or even put on hold, and then all of a sudden it just breaks through, and then there's the flow again. So the ebb and flow of
Right.
life is part of the process. It's just like breathing in and breathing out. And between those breathe in and
Mm-hmm.
breathe out, sometimes there's just that little pause, that little sweet pause,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that little sweet pause, I think, is the time of refreshing. So
Right.
if that's where you're at, sometimes we say, oh, I'm feeling stuck, because you don't know what the future is. And none of us do. And especially over this past year when
Right.
things have been so different, interesting and different. A lot of people are feeling a very urgent call to be of service. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's also this time of waiting and the perfect timing, and people being ready for what you have to offer, and you being ready for what you are launching into. So what do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like is on your heart? What do you feel like you might want to be doing that's different than what you're doing now?
Well, as far as the readings, I've been really they have been expanding. I did my first pop-up on Saturday. And I did, like, I did okay, and I know that I just really feel like God wants me to continue doing what I'm doing, but do it more in a mm, maybe in a different setting, because it was nerve-wracking, because this was my first time getting out, because I'm used to people coming to my house to do readings or doing them over the phone. So sitting them there, because my one of my biggest fears was, because I was raised in the Bible Belt, so I was a preacher's granddaughter, and so my grandpa was like one of the biggest preachers here in town, so everybody knows me from him.
Yeah.
And it was just nerve-wracking, because I just had a feeling a church person was going to come to me and just, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, and you should be in church, and da da
Mm,
da 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 da. So I think that's where it kind of ties in, where it's just like, oh, but then at the same time, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be me. I just have to
mhm,
continue
mhm,
to take that fear away and just go forward with the
mhm.
gift, that he's given me.
Hmm. It is scary when you're stepping outside of the comfort zone of what you were
Oh,
raised to
yeah.
believe, and what your
Mm-hmm.
family expects of you. But that's also part of the growing process for us,
Mm-hmm.
coming into our authentic expression, is reevaluating what do you truly believe? What's really
Yeah.
your belief about this? And owning that opens you up to more freedom, and that can be scary, because now you're opening to a new audience. You're coming out
Yes.
from behind the shadows, and you're
Yes.
kind of anticipating what other people might say or might think. So it's a growing process,
Mm-hmm.
definitely strengthening.
Yes. Yeah, that you're right. You're so right. 'Cause it's just like, I'm so used to just doing readings, and because most of my clientele, it's all been word of mouth, and it's growing and ever. But it's just like now, just like, oh my goodness, I'm out in public and people see me, and and it was just like I didn't want my kids to be made fun of. Oh, your mom is this, your mom is that, and then Michael was like, Jennifer, don't worry about that. We got you covered. I was like, oh, okay, Mike, I'm trusting you. All right, all right. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Because when you're called to do something, you're also enabled to do it.
right.
If you'll take that time for the pause and gather up all the goodies,
Yeah, exactly.
then you'll be ready. You'll be well supplied when you do step out, and you'll step out as you're led.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that was my biggest concern. Was just I was just happy that, like I said, I know I said it already, but I just want to reiterate it, that that I'm just grateful that I did find somebody of your caliber who understands where I'm coming from, and the light language, and all that is not normal, because I felt like I was going crazy, and then Michael was like, listen to her, and I was like, okay. And then when I'm on your page and talking to you, it just felt like home,
Mm-hmm. And I think that's because of the connection that you have with your creator and that close relationship that's uniquely yours. And I also have that. And so there's a resonance there of just feeling like we're sisters, we're home, we're one in the source and the creator, and having some similar backgrounds with our religion. I'm sure there's some things we could share there, both of us being raised in the Bible Belt and what that's like.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So it's
Yeah.
scary to step out like that. I'm still not completely out with all my family, but it's on an as needed basis. If I feel
Right.
like there's an opportunity and they're curious and they're asking, then I will share a little bit and see, test the water, see how they're feeling about that. Because if they're not ready, there's no need in me blasting them with light language and trying to force them into something they're not ready for. But you can kind of tell. You've got discernment, and you can
Oh
tell
yeah.
when somebody's ready when they're
Oh
asking for
yeah.
it. But I
Yeah.
guess with the church, the way I was raised, it wasn't ask them. It's everybody needs to be saved, and they need to do it like this, and so we were very gung ho on doing everybody else's business for them. And so this new way requires us to step back and let them figure it out for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
as we're doing the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's so true. That is so true.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause yeah, you're right. Cause I know that, like, with my kids, actually my bonus kids, they were just like, oh my God, our stepmom's crazy, and it's just recently this year where they're both like, oh, can we do readings, and and they're actually wanting to know more about the spiritual side. So I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
so just amazing.
So now they're ready and they're coming to you.
Right.
Makes a big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do a whole lot of marketing as far as the business side of this, because I do feel like there is a drawing that
Yes.
the Holy Spirit, the Creator, God, whatever you want to give name to that draws people who are ready, for what you have to offer. So that way I don't really have to worry about if somebody comes to me, are they ready for me? Yeah,
Yeah.
they wouldn't
Right.
have been led to me if it hadn't have been divinely orchestrated. Their soul
Yeah.
behind the scenes drawing them to the website or to a podcast like this or something that let them feel that resonance and go, oh, okay, I need to connect.
Right. Right.
I bet you feel the same way with some of your clients.
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing. I did a website, but then I was just kind of drawn back. Like, it was weird. I had a weird situation happen, because when I first started doing the readings, it was probably about 5 years ago. This guy called me and he was just saying, oh, I want to meet, and then he started preaching to me about the Bible,
Mm.
and one thing about it is that I'm well versed in the Bible, and I'm,
Right.
and I said, well, if I was in the church, I'd be like a prophetess. But it was just, it was crazy, but I talked to him again, and he wants to meet at a weird park and do all this stuff. No, I'm not gonna do crazy stuff like that to put myself in jeopardy,
Mm-hmm.
So I do thank God at the end of the day that he does grant me discernment, when, and right before I usually do my readings and stuff like that, or even before, like in the, I always say, hey, people that are in, like when the people come over from the other side, I say, hey, I only deal with people that's in the light of God, all that darkness and stuff. No, but at the same time, I know people that, when they do want to get my message, I know that they're ready. Lord, just send me who's ever ready to receive the message, whatever message you want me to deliver, you tell me, and it just flows. They just look at me like, oh my gosh, how'd you know? And it's, yeah, that's exactly how it is,
Right. Right. With that discernment, you're tapping into the universal mind, the mind of God. So you are able to bring forth the message that they need to hear. And I love what you said about your prayer, that is, God, send those to me, like you're actually asking for God to draw them to you. So you realize that there is an ongoing work behind the scenes that's quite magical.
Oh yeah, it's magical. It's funny because the other day I did my daughter's reading and it was like an elf or a little dwarf came through. And that was the first time I saw him, and he was just saying basically, oh, the rainbow, he said the gold at the end of the rainbow, and I never knew what it meant. But then as we got further along in the reading, she knew exactly what it was, and she just looked at me like, she was just stunned that the way that it came through, it was amazing.
Right. Absolutely. It's great. So do you want to share a little bit of your angel language and just offer that as a blessing to some people who are listening to this retro? If you're comfortable, I'm putting you on the spot. I realize that, and you can say no.
I don't mind. I just one thing about it is that when I do mine, I don't know, like when you do yours, if you know what it means when you're saying it, because like it's hard for me. Like I know I did it for my daughter and her friend, and they both had chills and all that stuff. But it's just like sometimes it just comes out.
Yeah. Well, if you're comfortable with doing that, that's fine. And if not, that's okay too. No pressure.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Big step. Here you are coming out into your public arena.
Oh yeah.
You see how that worked? I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, helping you come out.
I didn't either. I just thanks, Yvonne. Okay. Okay, let me see. Whew, I'm a little nervous, but I guess we'll be all right.
You're fine.
Okay, we can go ahead and I'll go ahead and get started.
我想西呀西哟啊，咿呀小破呀嘞沙一破来沙啦沙，好西呀。小面下小好下拉下拉爬下好下小树呀。
Yes, Avaliokona. Dalaviokura Sikaye Shundamakala. I just love feeling the energy of the light language and just taking that into my heart. I don't try to decipher it with my mind, because I think if you had something to say in English, you'd just say it in English. So if this is coming through as angel vibration, then I want to receive it with that part of me that I know is best able to receive it.
Oh, my audio.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, here we go.
I think your energy just blasted it.
Okay, I didn't hear any of that. All I know is it my car went out and I didn't hear anything. Sorry, I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was saying that I like to feel that energy, and I could definitely feel your transmission coming from your pure heart of love. Yes. Dorovarsion doromokula ya Ada Solama. Ramalokutaka Ishkovai. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing your heart, your journey, and your light language with us today. And may
Thank
you
you for
be,
having me, Yvonne.
you're so welcome. And you be blessed as you step out in faith, little bit by little bit, surprising yourself even with the confidence that arises in you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome, dear. And we'll talk to you soon again.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.